All right. Good afternoon, good evening, I guess. It's almost evening. My name is Dina Thatchett, and I am the Referral Outreach Manager with Make-A-Wish Illinois. And thank you so very much to those of you who are attending today. And thank you so very much. I'd like to introduce two of our Wish Moms. There's another Wish Mom that should be joining us hopefully soon, Suha and Marcy. So I'm going to present first a little bit just about Make-A-Wish in general, and then I'm going to stop talking and let those of the Wish moms who have been at the receiving end of an experience along with their families share a little bit more about their children's wishes and the impact that it has had on their children and their families. So my presentation is entitled Hope is Essential. And that is really the basic premise that weaves through every single thing that we do. Our intent is to not only obviously provide a wonderful wish experience, but it is to provide hope. It's to provide something for the children to control and to look forward to, something for the family to build some joy, some strength, some resilience, some hope, all those wonderful things that are necessary and needed when a child is living with a critical medical condition. These things are essential just as well. So we use the word hope as an umbrella term for all those wonderful things. On the medical side, it's psychosocial healing. It's all of those additional complementary medicine, whatever you want to call it. But we believe that it is equally as essential as the medicine for the children with critical medical conditions. So today I am planning to just share a little bit about the impact of a wish, the eligibility criteria, and how to make a referral. So this will hopefully come in handy for any of you who might be a family whose child may not have already had a wish experience and is looking to consider referring. If you are a medical professional and working with a child under the age of 18 who has not yet been referred, or if you just know someone or want to take the information back and keep it at hand in case you come across someone that has not yet been referred, but who might be interested in either more information or referring their child. I will also be here to answer any questions that we might have. And then also, like I said, then I will turn it over to our wish families because their stories, their testimonies are so much more impactful and profound than anything that I could ever share. So, just as a level set, our mission is together, we create life changing wishes for children with critical medical or critical illnesses, critical illnesses. And our vision, we have a very bold vision to grant the wish of every eligible child. This is not just for Make a Wish Illinois. This is Make a Wish as an enterprise, the entire organization across the entire United States. We believe in the same mission and the same vision, and we actually are international as well. So anyone that is international that might be joining us or knows of a family that is international, please connect with us and we'll get you or them connected in with our international chapter. So I wanted to start with just some photos of a couple of wishes. So these are photos from a little one named Kylie. And her wish was to go to Disney World, which, as you can imagine, is one of our top wishes. And as you can see, her wishes scream joy, and being able to high five Olaf, that is a dream of mine. I hope I get to do that one day. And just the smiles and the elation, not only on her face, but that of her family. So just a chance for Kylie and her family to step back to walk into the magical world of Disney and to be a child and to be a family and be together. Another wish for a little one named Julia. So Julia wished to meet the Shaytards, which I am not even certain I know who they are. I'm going to venture a guess, a family of some sort. I should have done some research on that. My apologies. So in any case, these are her the photos from her wish, and I see nothing but smiles and joy on her face, which is at the very bottom of what we do, our smiles, and we just. Oh, battery? Show the battery. Hello? Sorry about that. Thank you so much. So again, yeah, nothing but joy on her face. And then from there, we ladder up joy, hope, positive thoughts about the future, being able to be a family, just being able to, shut out the world for a moment and say, what can we do as a family together that will bring our child some joy and hope? Avi and I don't match very well. So some of the wish types. So I already mentioned that Disney World tends to be one of the top wish types for our children. However, there's a wide variety of many different wishes that children choose. And this is just a very small list of virtual celebrity meet and greets, pets or animals, campers and trailers, computers, electronics, shopping spree, travel to places outside of Disney. So and it's not intended to be a pick list. We don't offer a list to the children and families to pick from. We really try to get an understanding from the child and from the family of what it is that the child is truly wishing for. And more importantly, even than the wish type, it's the why, the essence of the wish. What is behind your child choosing this as their wish? And what are the absolutes? What are the things that if we don't make this particular thing happen, then all we've done is create a wonderful experience, but not necessarily fulfilled a wish. So, for example, Dustin wanted to have a shopping spree, but he had a very specific list of 3 items that he wanted to have on his shopping spree. So we made sure that those, at minimum, those 3 things happened. Otherwise, it would have just been a fun outing, getting to shop, but not necessarily a wish fulfilled for Dustin. So, again, 4 examples of wishes, and we fulfill about approximately 800 wishes a year. So, as you can imagine, just when we think we've heard it all, we hear something new, and we get to be creative as a team and come together to really truly dig in and understand what it is about the essence of that child's wish, because that's where the hope lies. That's where the strength lies. That's where the resilience shows up. That's where the joy really resonates for the child and for the family. So I will talk a little bit about Wish Impact today. So we take our families, we go with our families on a wish journey. So it's, we try really hard not to be, okay, what would your child like? Okay, here it is. Okay, thanks, bye. So instead of that, it is truly a wish journey. So at the front end, it's making sure that we get the referral typically from a medical professional, but the referral can also come from a parent, a guardian, someone else in the family that has verbal permission to provide us the information for a referral. So anyone on the medical team or the family can submit the referral, and that's when the journey begins. So once a child's condition is deemed to be eligible for a Wish from Our program, it's very much an intentional journey, getting assigned to volunteer wish granters. Usually the first visit is in person, but sometimes, as you can imagine, the past few years have changed things. So sometimes it is virtual, but it's intended to be a, really casual getting to know the child, introductions, having some fun. Really, it's not intended to say, what is it that you want to wish for? And let's go, because that doesn't feel like a journey. The intent behind the journey is to build anticipation. It's to build trust. It's to build joy towards something. It's to give the child a breather about making a decision, but really wanting to make sure that they're thoughtful and, dedicated to the process. And we call it wish discovery. So really, it's very much a process that we go through. And then all the way through, there are different steps along the way. There's different staff members or volunteers. There's wish boosts that keep them excited along the way. So throughout the journey, there's establishing meaningful connections and strengthening the child's support system. The intent is to provide strength for the child, but also for the family. Again, there's siblings involved, there's grandparents, there's parents, there's, all sorts of people in different families that are the support system for this child. And we want to bring joy and strength to everybody that the child touches, or the wish touches, sorry. We intend to empower the child by giving them a sense of control. So in many cases, that sense of control is taken away from the child and from the family. Children have to go to their doctor's appointments. They have to take medicine or have surgeries or pokes or whatever it is that their particulars entail. And we try to give them a sense of control back over something in their life. It's building anticipation, as I said, towards something positive, creating hope during a dark and difficult time, and promoting resilience and assisting in the healing process. So these are all, again, very profound aspects of healing, and the wish journey really takes them through that. And on the flip side of the wish fulfilled, and I'm not trying to rush us through, but I do want us to hear from our moms. The flip side of a wish fulfilled is our alumni program. So we don't just say, again, here, your wish is fulfilled, goodbye. We keep families in our fold if they so choose to, regardless of what the wish was, regardless of when the wish was. We have families where the child's wish happened 25 years ago, and there are families in our alumni program because it's community. It's a way to stay connected with others that have been along this journey, who have been in their shoes, who can rely on each other and connect with each other around being families that have gone on a journey, on a medical journey, but also on a wish journey. So our alumni program is extremely robust. It's one of the first ones in our enterprise, and our Wish alumni manager is incredible, and does an amazing job at engaging the families, providing opportunities for families to have special activities and perks and things that gatherings. She does Wish alumni reunions annually to bring families together, whether in person or virtually. So hope is medicine. We do believe that a wish experience is part of the treatment protocol, where we do not claim to create healing, but there is a correlation between hope and strength and joy and a wish experience, and some aspects of healing. So 98% of medical providers say they have observed that a wish experience helps relieve families from traumatic stress related to their child's critical illness. So again, it's a correlation. We can't prove anything, but there's a correlation there. We, in 2022, our national chapter conducted a wish study, a wish impact study, and it actually surveyed over 3,300 constituents. And what the constituents included were wish alumni, wish families, and healthcare professionals, to really understand the impact of wishes that we had fulfilled between 2009 and 2019. So 10-year span. And these are some of the numbers that came out of that study. And there's additional ones as well. And it is published on our website. And otherwise, I can share that information with anyone interested. But 92% of our Wish alumni said that the Wish experience brought their family closer together. How important is it for a family to feel like they've come closer together because of what the illness may have, or the illness or the condition may have done to the family unit? We know stress can cause so many different things, and 92% of our alumni say that that's what they felt. So I won't go through all the numbers, but just really, really profound information that we have. And we also, I don't have it up here, but we actually, our a physician out of Columbus, Ohio, actually did a study, a 5-year study about the impact of a wish on children across many different conditions. He himself is an epileptologist, but he did the study with many different medical conditions and came up with similar results in terms of correlations with healing. And one really, really important factor that came out of that study as well is that there was a reduction in healthcare costs for children who had received a wish experience. Fewer ER visits in some cases, less reliance on pain medication or lower doses of pain medication, feelings of I can do this, I can go to school, I want to do this thing that I used to do that I was afraid to or felt like I couldn't anymore. So that is an actual published study in a medical journal, and we're so proud of that. That's been done, because again, that gives more credence to what it is that we do every single day for the children and families that we serve. In terms of eligibility criteria and how to refer, so at the time of referral, a child must be diagnosed with a critical or life-threatening medical condition, must be between the ages of 2.5 and 18, and referred before their 18th birthday, is living in the state of Illinois. And I say that because I'm here representing the Make-A-Wish Illinois chapter. Obviously, anyone who lives in a different state would just be referred to a different chapter instead. So if anyone lives in the state of Illinois or is here for an extended period of time for treatment, then the child would be referred to our program. And if a child is here for a short time or lives in a different state or again internationally, they would just be referred to a different chapter instead. It's not that they're not eligible to be referred, it's that our chapter wouldn't be the ones overseeing the referral or the wish. And then finally, a child may not have received a wish before from any Make-A-Wish chapter or wish granting organization. That's a pretty standard common practice and policy across wish granting organizations. There's roughly 95, if not more, wish granting organizations across the United States that work with a variety of different illnesses and department or categories. So the intent is not to be mean. It's not to say that children don't deserve more joy than what a wish experience brings them. It's to ensure that we have the resources to continue to bring a wish experience to children who have not yet been referred and yet received a wish. So it's a pretty fairly common occurrence. So if a child has already received a wish, then they would not be eligible to be referred to us instead. But we would always do our best to provide other resources to the child and family for which they might be eligible for outside of wish granting. Who can refer? Parents or guardians can refer to the program, as well as, again, anyone on the medical team that is working with the child can also submit a referral. If another relative would like to submit a referral on behalf of a family, we understand that sometimes the immediate family are, obviously buried under the illness and all the other things that life brings. And it might be grandma or an uncle or someone else that feels like, wow, I'd really love to get this started. Then they are able to actually start an inquiry, but we would just ask that verbal permission is made and the parents are involved, parents or guardians are involved in knowing that that information is being shared with us, because we're not bound by HIPAA, but we do very much respect HIPAA and confidentiality for all of the families, whether in our program or yet to be referred. And then ways to refer on our website. So everything is online. There's a wish.org/Illinois/refer. And then there is one in Spanish as well for our Spanish prospective Spanish speaking families or referral sources, and then in person at events. So we do a lot of events like this where we might have a table or present at conferences, and we can absolutely accept referrals on the spot. So I'm going to keep moving. I hope all of this information is, and feel free if anyone has a question, by all means, please stop me. Just some things to keep in mind. So our eligibility criteria is standard across all chapters of Make-A-Wish. So if a child lives in a different state, their condition is being evaluated and determined the same way it is being done here in Illinois. And our national medical staff and national medical advisory committee are the ones that oversee the eligibility criteria for all of the conditions. So we're not just kind of deciding on our own as non-medical professionals as to what qualifies for a wish from our program. It is very much standardized across by medical professionals who have a vested interest in making sure our criteria are appropriate and that we're reaching the intended population. Every single referral goes through our referral eligibility process. There is no guarantee of eligibility regardless of the condition. So we ask that, if you're a medical professional working with children or know someone, we just ask that no promises or guarantees about eligibility may be made until we have the referral, we have everything that we need, and we've checked in with the medical staff. So again, that is across the board so that every family hears exactly the same information and that we do our due diligence on our eligibility criteria. The referral process and the eligibility determination can sometimes take a little time depending on the child's condition. If a child has multiple diagnoses, secondary conditions, comorbidities, a lot of complications, we might need to ask a little bit more information so that the eligibility process can be completed and we have all the information that we need for that to happen. If a child's condition does not meet the eligibility criteria for our program, as I mentioned before, we always contact the family to let them know, and then we will share other resources that we continue to gather and vet to make sure that there's other options and other support for the children and families that a family may not be aware of, and hopefully are eligible for some of those programs. We can't make promises or guarantees. We're not affiliated with those programs, but we try to make sure that there's something for us to share, and we share that in either English or Spanish if a family is Spanish speaking. And then wishes can take time to plan also, depending on the wish type. On average, at least pre-pandemic, it used to take 6 to 12 months to fulfill a wish on average from start to finish. Again, that goes back to the wish journey. There's an intentionality behind that so that during that time, we build the trust with the families, we build anticipation, we do countdown calendars. So a child, 3 months out has some sort of a calendar and a visual on, otherwise, as we all know, children are like, is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Is it today? Are we going today? Are we doing that today? Countdown calendars and building anticipation helps them get a visual on it's not tomorrow. We might have a month or 3 months, et cetera. But the reason I bring that up is because, there are some folks that think, just in the public in general, not anyone here, but in general, some people think that wishes can happen right away and overnight. And typically they don't. We have many different factors. We have to be fiscally responsible. We, again, want to follow the wish journey. We want to really build the connection and that wish discovery. And then others who think that there's some sort of a waiting list of like 3, 4, 5, 7 years, and that's not the case either. It's some happy medium in between, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. Sometimes wishes don't take quite as long because the wish type itself, a shopping spree, might not take quite as long, but some are time bound. If a child chooses to go to the Super Bowl, for example, Super Bowl only happens once a year. So if they, if they get referred in March, well, guess what? They have to wait the entire year for their wish to be fulfilled. So that one might take a little bit longer to fulfill, but that gives us the opportunity to really discover what that child is wishing for, to keep them excited, to do wish boosts and fun perks along the way, and really give them a journey towards their Super Bowl wish that would come the following February. And much of the hope and resilience and joy from a wish is built throughout that wish journey. So the wish itself, the day of, the week of, whatever the case might be, obviously is filled with a lot of emotion and a lot of hope and joy and strength, but as is that journey leading up to the wish. And so that's why we stress that a lot. And so if you are contemplating referring, if you're not quite sure, if you think maybe not this year, my child might not be ready or not old enough or whatever the case might be, talk to us. We don't want to force anyone to refer at a time that you're not ready, especially if a family is overwhelmed. But at the same time, hopefully, based on our anecdotal information, having been doing this for a long time, and now these published studies, it might be something that gives your family something to focus on during otherwise very difficult time. And something I want to stress that wishes are not considered last wishes, but lasting wishes, regardless of the prognosis or the final outcome. So, unfortunately, there is still a misconception out there that every child that we serve is in a terminal state or progresses to a terminal state, and that the wishes that we're doing for them are last wishes. Certainly, a portion of the children that we serve are in that state, and that is the reality for them. Another small portion of them might have their wish and years later might, pass away from their medical condition. And many others that survive their medical condition, either with the condition or potentially, cured of their condition or whatever the case might be. And our wishes are for every single one of the children that I just mentioned, regardless of that final prognosis, regardless of the outcome. And the intent is to build hope and joy for that family at the time that they need it the most. So I just wanted to stress that as well.
I have a question slash
Yeah.
comment from the online.
Yes.
She is part of the North Carolina chapter of Make a Wish.
Uh-huh.
She has a question, says, when kids are given a diagnosis like leukodystrophy, why isn't this mentioned as an option? I had to ask for my son's referral and I wasn't sure if my son was eligible, but they did it and it was pretty quick, but we didn't ask for a year into his diagnosis, and now I wish I had done it sooner as it is a long process.
That is a fantastic question. So it could be due to several reasons. Certainly, one being I'm not sure how North Carolina operates in terms of their outreach program. Every chapter is kind of run independently, only from the standpoint of some are our chapter is very, very large. As you can imagine, the number of children that we serve and that we potentially may serve in our area is rather sizable. Each chapter, has different size, incidents and kind of what they do and how they staff up to reach the children. So that could be part of it. Sometimes it depends on who it is that the staff is meeting with. So I do my best to try to get onto every agenda of every person on every staff, but that doesn't always happen. So I might be talking to one person in a department of 30 people, and that person may try to their best to get that information across. But we also understand where we land in priorities of, the medical staff are obviously very, very busy, rightfully so, treating the children and working with the families to ensure the child has good health and is stable and is getting the treatment that the children need. So that could be a reason. I mean, it sounds like I'm making excuses. I'm not. I wish that every family with a child with a qualifying condition would receive that information sooner. There are some departments that choose to wait a little bit into a diagnosis to kind of achieve whatever stability might look like. I know that that's a loaded and weighted word as well for the children that we're intending to serve, but they might wait. I can't obviously speak to what the staff with your child's condition why they chose that or why they didn't share that information. But what I will say is that that would be a great opportunity if you or others are in a position to share, just as we've brought in some of our Wish alum families to share about the importance of it. And we absolutely, absolutely encourage families to ask your doctors about the program if someone doesn't bring it up with you. We know some other families have said, it is brought up at the front end and it's too soon because they're quite overwhelmed and want to wait for their child's treatment and kind of things to happen first. So I think it might be individual for some families too, but that information should be provided by the medical team and we're also trying really hard to just be out in the do a brand marketing campaign so people know that we exist and what we do, because the more that we're out in the public eye, the more people will remember to refer to our program. So I hope I answered your question, and feel free to email me. I'll have my information up and available if you would like. All right. So that's really what I have in terms of my presentation. So unless we have any other questions, I'm going to actually then ask a few questions to our panelists, our Wish Moms. All right. So you guys are on the hot seat now. I am pleased to introduce Marcy Flores. Many of you might even know her, but Marcy Flores is the mother of Wish child Joshua Flores. So she'll be sharing a little bit this evening about Joshua's wish. And then we'll actually move down and I will introduce Suha Zain, who is the mother of Wish child. Is it Saha or Saja Zain? And then, unfortunately, another one of our Wish Moms, Crystal, we haven't seen her yet. Hopefully she'll make her way here and we'll be able to hear from her as well. And Crystal is the mother of Wish child Amelia. So Marcy, let's start with you, if you don't mind. Can you briefly share about what Joshua wished for and when he wished for it?
10 years ago this month, actually, we were in Italy. He was in 5th grade. He had, so my son got diagnosed in 2009 with leukodystrophy. So this is now 2014. I don't remember how we got referred. I think there was a social worker that referred him from school. So we were, as you know, we were working with Wish grantors and trying to get to know what my son's interests were. And he came home excited one day off the bus. Mama, I know what I want for my wish. And I'm like, what's that? I learned that pizza, because he absolutely loves pizza. He can't eat it anymore because he's G-tube fed. So it's, it's been a struggle. But in those days, he could still eat. I learned that pizza was made in Italy, and that's where I want to go for my Make-A-Wish. And I looked at him like, that's not how it doesn't work that way, and I didn't want to like burst his bubble, but I said, okay, bud, we'll see what we can do. He's like, I have some backup plans. So at this, he's in fifth grade, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. He said, if that doesn't work, I want to make slime at the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. And if that doesn't work, I want to meet Katy Perry. So I reached out to the Wish grantors and the organization and I said, this is what Josh wants. And they said, well, okay, let's meet again with your son and let's kind of go over some information. And he was dead set on going to Italy and making pizza in Naples because he found out that that's where pizza was made.
Amazing. If anyone ever gets a chance to meet Joshua, you should. It's a must. So thank you, Marcy, for sharing that. And now I'm hungry. I'm gonna have pizza tonight, I think. And so Suha, can you tell us about Saja's wish?
Okay, so Saja's wish was granted in 2012. She was 3 years old. She was diagnosed with Alexander disease, which is leukodystrophy, in 2009, when the year she was born. And her wish was to go to Disney World. So we went as a family to Disney World. And that wish was decided as a family because she was nonverbal. Saja, I mean, we had a great time. It is something that memories that will last forever with her. And Saja did pass away in 2017. So, like I said, it is something that is with us.
Very sorry for your loss. And thank you for being here and talking about Saja and her wish. We're grateful, absolutely grateful. So I think Marcy touched upon the reason that Joshua chose to make pizza because he found out that that's where it's made. I'm gonna stay with you, Suha, first, just a second. If you could tell me, I know as a family you decided, was there something that you wanted to make sure that you guys experienced or saw or did, or a character or anything that stood out for you as a family that you wanted for Saja?
Saja was our little princess. So we wanted her to go and meet the princesses. And it was great. She was treated like a princess. They dressed her up in princess costumes, and it was just she was our little princess for the week. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it was something where, during that week, we didn't have to worry about medical or anything. We didn't have to worry about doctor appointments. We didn't have to worry about, therapies. We had, therapies 5, 6 times a week, coming over. And it was just something where we were able to go and actually spend time as a family and not have a to-do list, not have, doctor appointments, things like that.
Absolutely. I think you read my script. I was going to ask about, that was my next question. Thank you for sharing. And then Marcy, if you can share a little bit about, obviously, besides the fact that you were in Italy, which is incredible in and of itself, and got to eat pizza apparently, and make pizza, talk a little bit about what impact the wish had on Joshua that you as parents witnessed.
Uninterrupted family time. In those days, he had gotten diagnosed in 2009. So we saw the progression of the disease. And at that time, we were told, you need to get your affairs in order because he might not be here. Well, 2 weeks ago, he celebrated his 19th birthday. So that's a side note, right? So keep that in mind. So we're rushing to have him gain experiences of life. So for 10 days, it was uninterrupted family time. The impact was not only felt by my son and by my husband and myself, but our 2 other kids. We have 2 other children that were older. And they were kind of left to their own devices because we were so focused on getting medical care, getting answers, trying to make sure that we took them to all these specialists, that at times my 2 older kids had to stay home, had to be with family. They were kind of bounced around and they didn't know what was going on. We were very transparent with our kids. So the impact was not just on Joshua and making him or giving him something to look forward to, the journey of the wish itself. And for our family, but also for our kids. It was like impactful for the entire family.
Thank you so much, Marcy. And Suha, kind of the same question. I know you talked a little bit on the medical side. How about for your family, the other children and your husband?
Okay, so one main thing that I always had to remember taking care of her was I had to switch nurse mode off sometimes and remember that I'm also mom. So during that week, I was on mom mode. I didn't have to worry about nurse mode. And I think that that was a major thing.
And I forgot the Kleenex, so I
Sorry.
apologize.
I get emotional talking about
It is. It is emotional. It is emotional hearing the stories, which is why we bring you in, because no matter what I share, it will not convey the same way. And I'm so grateful to both of you for your candor and for sharing here today with our audience, with our guests. Two more questions, and then I'm going to let you off the hot seat. So, um, for each of you, was there anything that surprised you about your wish, or was there anything that you feel like your child, that Joshua or Saja, were surprised by, or the moment that you felt like, there it is, like they know that their wish has been fulfilled? Was there anything like that at all?
In 2018, I don't know if you remember, we were asked to be keynote speakers at the Make-A-Wish Ball with John Hamm.
Yeah.
So when you're actively in the wish and you're actively like on vacation or whatever your wish may be, you're in the moment. You have to reflect back. I was in front of 1,000, 1,500 people, and we spoke about my son's wish and about the experience and the impact and all the feelings that we felt and all the great people that made it happen. And being in front of a room full of, lots of people that donate time, talents, money to make this happen for a family like ours, a modest family, at that, it was eye-opening because I wanted to make sure that I went back and I helped in such a way where other families would have the same opportunity. That was eye-opening for me. Yeah.
Thank you. Suhan.
Okay, so the moment for my daughter, at a certain point, she was unable to show emotion. So she stopped crying, she stopped smiling, everything. There's one picture that we have in particular where she's looking up at Minnie Mouse and she has this, like, you just see in her eyes, this like brightness in her eyes. So that was something that we never saw with her. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. That spark, that is the essence of the wish. That is what we are intending for every single one of our wish children. Sometimes we capture it, sometimes families can share it, sometimes not. We know just from anecdotal, the sharing of photos, the talking to each other, the hearing from families, that it's happening, and it's happening on every wish, whether really profound or in small doses. But we know that it's happening, which is what motivates us to continue to do what we do, to continue to. So my job at Make-A-Wish is to do the outreach with the medical community and ensure that children are being identified and referred to our program, children with critical medical conditions, eligible conditions, so that we can do what we do. So that is my job. I've been doing it for 23 years now, so I kind of like it. I kind of, I'm going to stay because there are, unfortunately, there are still more children that we have yet to serve. The unfortunate part is that children are living and being diagnosed with critical medical conditions. The fortunate part is we're ready, willing, and wanting to do wishes for those children to bring them at least a sliver of what it is these families have shared with us today, both Marcy and Suhas. So I'm so grateful. And my last question for both of you is that if there is another family out there that doesn't know about Make-A-Wish or is maybe hesitant, maybe holding back, maybe not quite sure if they want to be part of it, what would you say to them?
I would say do it. It is something that stays with you for the rest of the rest of your life, whether it's you, your wish child, your other children, anybody else that's involved, that, because also grandma was there with us as well. And it's just something that stays with us, and we have memories and we have pictures, and it's you do for whether it's a week, if you're on a trip, it's something that you just forget everything medical. You just forget it and you have a time of your life and have, build those memories with your family.
Thank you. Marcy.
Although it's been 10 years, Sue said the same thing. I feel the same thing that Sue said. 10 years later, we're still talking about it. 10 years later, this polar bear right here belongs to my son. He's had him since he was in first grade. We took him everywhere. In Italy, we have so many pictures of Joshua and the polar bear, Alaska, in Italy. And I would say to those families that are hesitant, do it. I don't want to say do it before it's too late, but do it before your child, specifically speaking to the leukodystrophy families that are listening to us. Do it before the leukodystrophy becomes even more challenging and you're not able to do it. Our kids are going to have, memories of being pricked and prodded in examination rooms and sitting in conferences and cold clinical rooms. Let something as a wish be an impactful way to have fun with your family.
Thank you so much to both of you for being here, for sharing about your beautiful children, both Joshua and Saja, and about your families, what you've been through, and just being a voice that will help other children and other families experience similar joy and resilience and hope. And for that, we are grateful. I'm grateful to everyone who has tuned in today and joined us today. If there's anything that we can do to connect you in, if you aren't sure how to get hold of your chapter, if you have questions, if you have concerns, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk to anyone, reassure anyone, connect people. Clearly, I'm passionate about doing this for children and families like for Joshua and Saja, because we know that it matters. We know that it makes a difference, and we know that it's correlated with healing. So thank you so very much and have a wonderful evening.